I'd like to talk to you about stems and branches. Now, what is there to say about stems and branches? Well, a lot more than you think.
Stems are the bones, the scaffolding of plants and trees on which the leaves and flowers rely on to lift them from the soil. Stems come in many shapes and sizes, whether it's the scaly bark of the yucca plant, the climbing tendrils of ivy, or the vicious looking rose. Stems demand as much attention as the flowers. So what's going on inside? Well, stems contain the plumbing system, a complex network of cells that run throughout the whole of the plant. Some of these cells are hollow, just like a bunch of drinking straws, and are called xylem.
Xylem is filled with water molecules moving up and through the stem of the plant, all the way up towards the leaves.
The xylem is surrounded by smaller tubes called phloem. The phloem transports food around the plant. And all this is going on just underneath the surface of the bark.
Now the bark, this is like the skin of the tree. It protects all those cells that are inside from getting damaged by sunlight and weather conditions.
As well as the biggest threat to trees, the fungi.
As you know, the objective of most plants is to get their leaves up towards the sun. And what better way of doing it than branches, where they can lift their leaves right up towards the sunlight and capture as much sun as they possibly can.
So now that we've spoken about tree stems, let's have a closer look at the plant stems. Now there are two types of plant stems: woody stems on the right here, because the stems are obviously woody, and the soft green fleshy stems that you see with most plants, and these are called herbaceous plants. Most woody and herbaceous plant stems share the same parts, or anatomy as it's known. So let's have a closer look at them. Firstly, they have what's called epiteal. Now, epiteal is the stalk that connects the leaf to the stem. Next, we have the apical bud, and that can be found at the tips of the stalks. And finally, we have the axillary bud, which is located in forks or intersections upon the stem. Now, if you cut through a woody stem, you can often see what's known as the annual rings, a series of rings of different diameter that can tell you the age of a tree. The wide rings are those of the summer growth, and the thin, darker rings are the winter growth. And finally, we come to my favourite stems, the edible stems, such as asparagus, celery, and of course, the delicious rhubarb.